Alright guys, this is the greenhouse money and seed exploit for the PC game Lumberjack Dynasty. So basically, there is some preparation needed for this to even work to begin with. So if you were looking for an all-encompassing, easy method to make money in the game, this more than likely isn't the method for you. Let me just put that up front. First of all, in this case, I'm going to be crafting a substantial amount of Forester's casserole, which can be made in your kitchen once you've upgraded your house and you've got far along enough in the process that you're allowed to cook on your cooktop in your house's kitchen. So in this case, use your kitchen, and then you'd be able to, once you've obtained the cookbooks as well. There's 4 of them. Once you've obtained them, the only one you need in this case we're going to be using is the 4th book for mushrooms, and we're going to be using it for Forester's casserole. So I chose this item to use for the exploit due to it being the highest grossing cooked food item you can easily go about both obtaining the items for and growing yourself as well. Forester's casserole's 3 needed items, as you can see here, are mushrooms, wild mushrooms, one and the same, zucchini, and paprika. So the wild mushrooms, you can both buy from market vendors or just as easily, if not more easily, find abundantly throughout the game. Zucchini, which can again be bought at a number of the market vendors, or its seeds can be randomly obtained by doing the Find the Missing Sheep daily quest when they become available. And lastly, the 3rd item is paprika, which in this case you can see I have 0 of. Wild mushrooms, and that I have over 1,000 each of those. The paprika in this case, this is the only item here that can be obtained by growing it within the greenhouse only. Again, originally obtaining the seeds via Finding Missing Sheep daily quest. Thusly, our reason for dedicating our entire greenhouse to growing paprika only inside of it. So you might be thinking, if you're familiar with the game, of going the lowlander style mushrooms route, as they pay similarly to one another. You can get 36 per each Forester's casseroles versus 33.60 for the lowlander style mushrooms. But the main reason I'm choosing, besides just a little bit of price difference, is when you grow them in the greenhouse, the maximum amount of pumpkins upon maturing you only get 5 max, versus paprika you can get up to 15 max if you pick them right when they both mature. So you're getting 3 times as many paprika as you are pumpkin. So, better to go with the Forester's casserole for that reason alone, obviously. So that's the reason why we go with Forester's casserole. And again, these 2 are easy enough. You can buy both of those, just like you can buy both of these. You can buy both milk and that, but in this case, you can see how much more zucchini. Besides, if you wanted to grow, you can grow this as well. No really reason to really. Better just to grow the paprika, and I'll show you why. So now, second of all, and in my case anyway, it's not necessary. Again, I'm on September 30th right now, which is the end of the year. So if we go out to my greenhouse, and I'm just gonna jump out to there instead of walking out there. Right now, these are maybe a weekend at most, I would say. My paprika, again, my entire greenhouse is dedicated to paprika, like I said before. So right now, maybe these are a week into it. So you need to sleep overnight for this exploit to work. And if I slept overnight right now at the end of the season, because it's September 30th, these are going to mature. My paprika are going to mature because you're skipping numerous days as far as the game is concerned when you jump at the end of the year from September 30th to April 1st. Now, if it was a normal day and you were jumping from September 29th to 30th, my paprika wouldn't mature in this case. So this exploit wouldn't work right in this case. Again, the exploit works perfectly fine if your crops are already mature as well. So maybe you just want to use this exploit when your crops are mature, which is easy enough. They mature all, 21 days, 22 days, depending on which crop you're using. But in this case, use paprika, and they take, I think, 21 days to mature, 21 or 22, one or the other. So now, in this case, I'm using two different exploits here. So I'll show you in which. The first one is you're able to plant any existing seeds you may have in stock. So if I go into my greenhouse here, and keep your door shut, because if it's a dry day, your moisture goes down quicker over here. You'll have to pay for water more frequently. But anyway, if you go to your seedling storage, you can see what I have in stock right now. And the first exploit I'm using will allow you to plant any one of your seeds that you plant that you have in stock without losing those seeds in the process of doing so. So that's one of the exploits that I use in this case. Now, the second exploit involves loading a different save file so as to trick your primary save file to recognize the secondary file's contents. And it's a little bit hard to explain without going through the actual steps and showing you how it works. So let's just get to it, and I'll do exactly that. So in this case, if I go to my loads, and if you look, I have two different loads, and you can see how much money I gained from just doing this exploit. I was close to my $250,000 to pay off my uncle for the lumber mill, and in this case, I was at 229 when I started it, and I ended at 267 after doing so. So I made roughly 40,000 doing this, and it probably took me 20 minutes to do so, 30 minutes maybe. Well, you can see. Well, no, because I did jump from not doing it to doing it. But anyway, I'm getting besides the point. In this case, I gained almost 40,000 doing it for those. So the first thing I'm going to do is go back to my original day on the 30th, which is, you'll see here on this one. I think it's September 30th in this case. And excuse me for rambling on, but I tend to do that. So I'll try to not do so from here on out. But so, we can't see it without being in the vehicle. So let's jump to a vehicle. And this case, it's September 30th at noon. So if you look, my paprika are not mature. They're about a week, like I said. That was the file you were just watching me show you, part of the video. So these are about a week into it. So technically these have about 2 weeks to go before they would mature. But because I'm on September 30th, if I sleep today, it's going to be April 1st tomorrow, and that it's not just a day's worth of time. The game thinks it's a whole season that's passed. So in this case, since a season's passing, the paprika are going to mature. Now, I'm not going to get the full 15 that I normally would if I picked them as soon as they matured on a normal day. So you are losing in that case, but I'm not worried as much about that as I'm gaining the days that I don't have to wait for them to mature. So I'm going to sleep comfortably. I'm going to choose A, and you're seeing A and Y because I'm using a controller. If I use the mouse and keyboard, it changes to E and enter, and you can see the keyboard in the lower left. But because I'm using a controller, it changes what the functions are. In this case, I'm going to sleep comfortable bed overnight. So I pick that. It's going to be the following day now, and it's going to tell you it's April 1st as you're seeing. Oh, can't change that. But it's April 1st as you see at the top right. So now if I jump back to my greenhouse, I just jump back to my car, and you can already see over there to the right that my paprika are mature. They're the red fruit there in that case. So it's April 1st now. I have 1,032 zucchini, 1165 for my wild mushrooms, and I don't have any paprika at this point. So let's go into the greenhouse. And if you look at my saves, I like to save it in steps so I don't screw anything up here. And whatever's convenient for you. If you save, you save. If you don't want to save, you don't have to. One of the steps you will have to save though. So right here, if I go back up, this was September 30th. This was April 1st, the beginning of the day. I like to save the night before and the following day of. Now, this is where I would be inside the greenhouse before I pick. I like to save it there. You don't have to. Again, I do. So I'm not going to in this case. So, but because the whole season's passed, instead of getting 15, I'm only going to get 3 per each bushel. 3, 3, 3, 3. Okay, I'm going to pick all of them. You got 35 spots in your greenhouse you can plant in. Okay, so now 3 times 35 in this case is going to get us 105, and there's your 105. Now remember, you'll get 15 paprika for each one if you pick them on a normal day and not waiting for the season to pass once they're mature. So you're going to get a lot more paprika normally than you would this way. So that's one benefit of doing it. But again, you'd have to have a lot of zucchini and wild mushrooms in this case for it to even work. But those, again, you can purchase and both find. Well, you can find the mushrooms, but you can grow these as well, and you can buy them from market vendors. So now this is the part where you would want to save. In this case, let's go to save at this point because I picked them, and this is after I picked them. In this case, this is going to be utilizing one of the exploits. So now I've saved it after I picked it. Now I'm going to go back into my seedling stock. I'm going to pick paprika again. I got 55 at current time. You can see it on the right hand side of my screen, 55 paprika seeds. So I'm going to plant them all. So now I have 20 left over. Okay, so normally if you would save or do whatever at this point in time, you'd only have 20 paprika, and you wouldn't be able to do this until you got more paprika seeds by obtaining them through the Find the Missing Sheep quest. But what we're going to do is we're not saving the game. Do not save your game at this point. What you do is go back to load game, load the one you just did, but you just planted them, but you're not saving. Now you're going back to the game where the save where you had just picked them all, and you're going to reload that save. Now once it loads, it's going to look like you haven't planted anything, but the game actually will recognize that you planted them. They're just invisible until you walk throughout your entire greenhouse, and they'll reappear at that point in time. So right now you can see that it's saying remove seedling. Even though it looks like your greenhouse is empty, your greenhouse really is not empty at this point. If you look at your seed stock, right now, if I go back to my seedlings, it's going to say I have 55 paprika seeds still, as if I haven't planted them. I didn't go down to my 20, so I'm going to get out. Oops. I'm going to look. It looks like they're not here, but they're here. What you need to do is walk throughout your entire greenhouse. As soon as you walk the entire length of your greenhouse, boom, they all pop in. There's your 35 that we just planted previously. Now they're here. So now you would want to save your game, because now you got 35 planted. You never used them. Like I said, they don't all of a sudden disappear from your seedling stock again. They're still there, but you got your seeds, whatever you planted, are now here again. So that's one exploit that we're utilizing for this. Okay, so now you would want to save in this case, because you have your ones planted. Okay, so now at this point you have 105 paprika that we just got from this. Okay, and the reason again this is easiest on this day is otherwise you'd have to wait again to where your things are maturing. On the last day of the year, and again you don't even have to exit. I just jump back to my vehicle to get out of the greenhouse. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my house now. We can make 105 of them because we got 105 paprika from that to make 105 Forester's casseroles. Okay. I'm going to jump back to my buggy. And what I like to do, and I do every morning as well, is I visit each one of the market vendors. That's the first thing I do in the morning. So 4 of them, I have vehicles parked near that don't have a bus stop near them. So I parked one near, this is Nathan, I believe it is. That's his market. I parked one. You can see my old forklift. This is, oh, you can even see the vehicle. This is the new pickup 4x4, the red one. This one, I parked the old forklift at the top of the hill where Natalie's located. I parked my old tractor at the top of the hill where Ashton is. I think that's his name, which is the brother of Natalie, at the top of the ski lift. And I parked the old pickup next to Lily's location, her place, because there's no bus stops near these 4. Now the other 4, where the markets are at, 2 of them are really next to the bus stops, but this bus stop will take you to Becky. Her store is like right here, so it's really close. This bus stop will take you right next to Victoria's store, which is like right here. This bus stop will take you right next to Annette's store. That's a little bit of a distance, not much. 20-second run, walk, whatever. And then this bus stop takes you next to Roman's store. He's the farthest from the store, but again, maybe a 30-second jaunt to get to his store. So in this case, I've been selling them to Victoria because she's the closest one, literally. As soon as you take the bus, you're right next to her store. I mean, that's the bus stop right there. So here's Victoria. Boom.
Hello.
Talk to her. Skip her dialogue by hitting the space bar. Care to trade. And in this case, 105 at 36 bones a piece. Get you 37.80. So you're getting close to 4,000 this way in this case. And again, like I said, I buy pretty much everything they have except for the honey. You could even buy that if you wanted to, but I don't do so because I hate hunting for the herbs because there's not too many of them. But they're a good money maker as well if you decide to go that route. But if you grow your own, growing my own, I'm already up to 76. I grow it faster than I can find the herbs. But I would buy the mushrooms. I even buy the fish because you can can them up and make a small profit. Everything they sell, you can basically profit. But here's the zucchini that you need for this one. You could buy that, like I said, and if you're buying it every day, you're looking for mushrooms, you're gonna few of the markets sell zucchini. You're gonna accumulate just like I did here, and then you can use this exploit every so often. So I'm not buying it right now, but I'm just telling you for your own record. So we're done here, okay? And part of the reason why I parked the buggy like I did, I pulled it up. If I wanted to, I do that, get out. When I'm visiting the markets every morning, why? Go over here, run over to Becky, buy her stuff. She's right there. Same thing again. Jump when you're done buying your stuff from Becky, come back to your vehicle, get out, boom. Now you can jump up to the top one, run down to Annette. Turn, and the net's right over here. There's a net store, so it's not too far. When you're done buying hers, come back. Buggy's right next to the bus stop. Y for me, for my controller. Now I go to Roman. He's the farthest away, like I said. And he's just over this way. You have a little bit of a jaunt, like I said. And there's Roman's store. Okay, so there's your 4 markets that you can get to via the bus stop. And the only one who really doesn't have anything worth of value to buy item-wise is Jack, right next to your house, of course. Maybe they made it like that on purpose, who knows? But he basically doesn't have anything worth buying other than sausage to feed yourself. Everything else, buy sausage in the stores, and because they're so cheap and the nutrition is so good on them. If you look at them, the nutrition on the sausage is 28. They're very cheap. Even your apples that you can pick, it's better because you're only getting 10 from them versus 28 for these. Can these and sell them instead. Buy sausage because they're like $1.28 or something a piece. These will get you like $6 a pop when you can them. So you're still making $5 even if you're buying sausage that way. That's another tip anyway that you're getting as far as being able to sell and make money. Pretty much everything can be sold. So let's get out and I'll go back and we'll show you the rest of the steps in this case. So right now, as far as the steps are concerned, I just sold to Victoria. So now the last thing, and you don't have to do it in this case, is I'll just jump back to my place to show you. And my trailer just reappears in the middle of the street randomly. It happens all the time. Right now, if you look at my game, I just planted my paprika. You can just see the small sprout that they are. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back. Well, I'm going to exit the game in this case because it's just safer to do so. It's not absolutely necessary, but I'm going to do so in my case because it definitely will reset anything going on with the game. So I'm going to reload. I'm reloading Lumberjacks. I'm not going to reload the last save where we were with her. I'm going to go back to the day prior. So it's imperative that you go back to the day prior because your paprika will be at the remember again, we're going a whole season here. Now, if you could do it a day before your things would mature otherwise, as long as they're going to mature the following day. In this case, if you look, we're again on September 30th here. So we're again, my things were only a week into growing. So now I'm on September 30th. This is the original file we loaded and started this. I'm going to sleep comfortable bed, sleep overnight. I'm going to jump back to my buggy car. And you can see, again, my paprika are mature again here. Because they were going to mature because they were only a week of growing. And because of the season change, they matured. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to loading the day we just sold to Victoria. In this case, I'm just going to go to where I saved in my house in the morning. It doesn't matter wherever you do it. I can go back to here as if we had just sold to her. I'm going to jump back to my place. Oh, there goes my trailer falling through the ground. And my paprika are mature again. Because this is the exploit the system is using. the game is looking at your previous day's save. So it thinks your things were mature. Even though we just planted this in the save file, the game is looking back at the prior days that we just loaded in and said, oh, my paprika is mature. So instead of only being us just having planted it today, you can pick 105 paprika again and do the process all over again. So if I wanted to pick these, again, they would be 3 each one. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. So you're going to get 105 again, but you would be down the difference. In this case, I'm down because I've already went numerous times, but otherwise you would have used 105 zucchini yesterday and 105 mushrooms as well. But again, I went from the 229 to 267. I already finished it doing it. It took me like 7 times doing it over and over because I'm only getting 105 paprika at a time. But you can see I went all the way down from my 1,000 plus zucchini and 1,000 plus mushrooms, and I'm down to this when it's said and done. So I'd have to start acquiring those again. But in the meanwhile, I went from 229 to 267. I almost went up 40,000. And again, you can do this with other dishes as well. You know, anything that you want to grow in there. But again, like I said, the highest grossing cooked item in the kitchen for food anyway is the Forester's casserole, which is $36 a pop. So in my mind, that's the easiest one to do because again, you can get these easy enough and the mushrooms easy enough. So there you go. Let me know if you guys have any questions and comments if you're not understanding a part of the process. But that's 2 different exploits you're getting there. One to not use your seeds. A second one to resell and make quick cash. And then, like I told you, another tip, like I said, is to visit the markets every morning by utilizing the bus stops and parking your vehicles near them, the ones that aren't near a bus stop, so you can go and grab those. So it makes it a lot more convenient and not so cumbersome. And another one is, guys, one last little tip. When it rains, if it's raining heavy enough, if it's a light rain, it doesn't make a difference. You could open up all your windows. But on the days that it rains heavier, open it up and stay in here and wait till it almost gets halfway into the blue, the light blue, not the dark blue, but the light blue, and not quite halfway because you have to go around closing them. And if it gets too high, it'll say high humidity. But you can save yourselves where it says humidity perfect. To stay in the perfect, it can only be halfway in the light blue. So if you wait too long to close your windows, but that's free rain. Otherwise, you're going to be paying a little bit for water. It's not much, but when it rains, you can take advantage of the rain by opening up your windows for just a short while and your door for a short while. And then you can, that way you don't have to pay for the water that you'd be using otherwise for the greenhouse as well. So, all right. Good luck, guys. Again, let me know if you have any questions or anything as far as this whole exploit is concerned. All right. Take care, guys. Good luck. Let's see if I can figure out how to stop this thing.